The date is September 3rd, 1260. In a valley called Ain Jalut, two armies stare each other down. One has never lost a single battle.
The other marches forward knowing that is almost certain.
For 60 years, the Mongol war machine has crushed every rival in its path. Cities have vanished under their fury, millions slaughtered, pyramids of skulls left behind as warnings. From China to Eastern Europe, no force has ever been able to resist them.
Until today.
Because something different is about to happen, something that will change world history forever. The Mongols are commanded by Kitbuqa, a seasoned general and a devout Christian warrior who has devoted his life to serving the Great Khan. His army has already conquered Damascus, Aleppo, and nearly all of the Middle East. Fresh from victories that seemed impossible, he believes nothing can stand in his way. But waiting for him are the Mamluks of Egypt. These are not ordinary soldiers. They are slave warriors, men stolen as children and raised only for war. Their leader is Sultan Qutuz. Just 3 years earlier, he had been an unknown officer in Cairo. Now, he carries the weight of Egypt on his shoulders, and the decision he is about to make will shape the future of the Islamic world. The Mongols send him a letter, brief and merciless. Surrender, or Cairo will suffer the fate of Baghdad. And what happened in Baghdad was beyond imagination. 1 million people dead in a single week, the city erased, its rivers running red with blood. Yet Qutuz responds in a way no one expects. He kills the Mongol envoys and nails their severed heads to the gates of Cairo. The message is clear: war, to the death. At this time, the Mongol Empire is the largest in history. 13 million square miles, stretching from Korea to Poland.
1/5 of the earth.
Their power lies not only in cruelty, but also in speed. Their horses cover 50 miles a day. Their riders can fire arrows with deadly precision while galloping at full speed. They inspire a fear so great that most cities surrender without a fight. When Baghdad fell, the jewel of the Islamic world, its libraries, its hospitals, its house of wisdom, all of it was reduced to ash. Books were hurled into the river until the waters turned black with ink. The slaughter was so immense that survivors claimed you could walk across the city on corpses without touching the ground. Cairo now faced the same fate, unless the Mamluks could do the impossible. The Mamluks, however, are not ordinary men. Each one was once a slave boy, often taken from Central Asia or Turkey, raised in military camps, stripped of family and tribe. They were molded from childhood into weapons, trained in sword, bow, mace, and strategy. By the time they were freed, they were no longer boys, but warriors bound together by loyalty not to kin, but to their brothers and to Islam. Among them is Baibars, Qutuz's fiercest general, a man of brilliance and ambition. He devises a daring plan that could save Egypt, or destroy it forever. He has studied the Mongols, watched their patterns. He knows they always strike the same way, scouts first, then the main army. It has never failed. But this time, the Mamluks will use that very tactic against them. Qutuz agrees, but with one bold change: he will not remain in Cairo. He will march at the head of his army. His advisors call him reckless. Sultans do not fight in the thick of battle. But Qutuz knows his men must see him bleed and fight beside them if they are to have any chance. September 3rd. Ain Jalut. The desert morning is cool, the valley silent. As predicted, the Mongol scouts arrive first, 1,000 horsemen charging straight at what looks like a small group of 500 Mamluk cavalry. The Mamluks appear to panic, retreating under a storm of arrows. The Mongols give chase. It is the same pattern that has always worked before. Then Kitbuqa arrives with the main force of 20,000. The narrow valley funnels his men forward. He hears the sounds of battle ahead, but cannot see beyond the high walls of rock.
I should hesitate.
He should scout further. But he is a Mongol general, and Mongol generals never wait. For 60 years, this confidence has brought only victory.
The army surges into the valley. And then the horns sound.
Not one horn, but hundreds.
They'll erupt with warriors. Mamluks rise from the sand like phantoms. 30,000 men, surrounding the Mongols on all sides.
For the first time in decades, a Mongol army is trapped. Yet the Mongols do not break. They form ranks, preparing to smash through to open ground. Kitbuqa orders a charge south, their only escape.
Arrows Wistol, Orse Scollide, the battlefield becomes chaos.
For a brief moment, it looks as if they might break free. And then Qutuz changes everything. He rips off his helmet, hurls it to the ground, and roars with all his strength. "O Islam!" His men hear him. They see their sultan, not hiding, not commanding from afar, but fighting and bleeding like any one of them. The effect is like fire in dry grass. The Mamluks surge forward with unstoppable fury. What follows is slaughter, but not the kind the Mongols are used to inflicting. Kitbuqa himself fights savagely, cutting down Mamluks until he is overwhelmed. With his last breath, he curses his enemies and dies without fear. By nightfall, nearly the entire Mongol force lies dead. Only a few hundred escape. The victory is more than military. It is psychological. The myth of Mongol invincibility shatters in a single day. Word spreads like wildfire across the Islamic world. The Mongols can be beaten. Fear begins to give way to hope. In the east, when news reaches the great Khan monk, it is a shock unlike any before. For the first time, a Mongol army has been annihilated.
The western expansion alzati once.
The resources once destined to conquer Africa and Europe are diverted elsewhere. The Mamluks use this moment wisely. Over the coming years, they reclaim the cities of Palestine and Syria. Baibars becomes sultan after Qutuz is betrayed and assassinated, a reminder of how deadly politics remained. Under Baibars, the fight against Mongols and Crusaders continues, and Cairo flourishes as one of the richest, most vibrant cities in the world. By 1300, the once unstoppable Mongol Empire fragments into rival khanates, turning inward, fighting one another instead of conquering westward. The Mamluks, meanwhile, rule for 250 years, patrons of art, science, and architecture. The knowledge they preserved becomes fuel for the European Renaissance centuries later. All of it began on that September morning. Had Qutuz chosen caution instead of defiance, history might have taken a very different path. Ain Jalut saved more than just Egypt. It saved the idea that even the mightiest empire can be brought down by those willing to fight for their land and their faith. Today, Ain Jalut is a quiet valley in the West Bank, unmarked, unnoticed. Few who pass through realize they stand on the ground where the fate of the world shifted. But on September 3, 1260, a band of former slave boys proved that even the most powerful empire in history could bleed. And sometimes, that is all it takes to change the world.